Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is What If Deku had a godly lightning quirk, part 2 of 2, and it seems like y'all have really been enjoying these godly series, which, honestly, I've been enjoying them too, because, and I'm gonna be transparent with you guys, I really like OP versions of Deku. I know some of you really enjoy maybe like a more thorough version of My Hero Academia, where we break down different aspects, how they different things would change, and make him like somewhat weak in terms of like the quirk he possibly could have. But in my opinion, I just really enjoy stronger versions of Deku, where I could see him just obliterate a ton of the universe, you know, do things at a higher degree. I just have really enjoyed those versions of Deku, but obviously I can't really please every single person, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. I really do enjoy these versions of Deku. Now, with all that said, I don't want to waste much more of your time because I want to get right into the video. So make sure to check the links in the description before we begin for the Discord, the Spotify, the membership, all that good stuff. Now, with that said, let's get right into it. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya, well, he is given an opportunity that is basically not shown to anyone, because this opportunity is to get your provisional hero license before anyone else. And he would actually have a conversation, and this is where I believe he would have a conversation with like a board of heroes and directors, and they would basically talk about if they should give Izuku Midoriya the ability and the chance to actually basically get his provisional hero license without doing his provisional test. I mean, at the end of the day, he has shown on a totally different level that he is capable, that he can do so many things, and he has helped so much. I mean, in the fight against All For One, he was there helping the entire time. So many believe that Izuku deserves to actually be given the opportunity to just gain his provisional hero license, that he's shown enough to every single person that to prove that he is deserving and that he is willing and that he is ready. And that's actually the case, because All Might himself would even tell everybody that Izuku Midoriya is ready, willing, and also just flat out available to get his provisional hero license, and he should be given that without actually having to take the test, which would skip over some things that Izuku normally would do with his classmates and his class in general. But Izuku, in doing so, he would be given the opportunity to really help out and also do things pretty damn quickly compared to normal. I mean, Izuku's powers, his strength, and his abilities are very useful, and they will be very, very and vastly useful if he can get out there on the in the hero kind of space before any time, or before it's too late. And Izuku's out there and gets a chance to actually work with a very, very, very high level hero, and that hero is Sir Nighteye. And he's able to work with Sir Nighteye because of All Might's recommendation, and he's able to work with Sir Nighteye because All Might himself has vouched heavily for Izuku. Like, we're talking heavily. So the fact is, he's able to make up with Sir Nighteye just enough to basically tell him that Izuku Midoriya is someone that he needs to immediately get on his list of sidekicks, because this kid could be the future and will be the future of this hero society. And it's crazy to think about, because, well, Izuku's not even necessarily the successor to All Might, but it seems like his powers, his quirk has advanced and has evolved a lot greater than anyone has possibly imagined. And that right there is the reality. And Izuku, he has basically taken his level of fighting skills and powers to a level that nobody could even possibly comprehend. And yes, he gets that offer from Sir Nighteye and also Mirio, but of course he does get tested by Mirio before anything else goes on. And this fight is a pretty damn cool one, because Izuku goes head to head with Mirio, and, well, let's just say Mirio's not necessarily able to get the upper hand on Izuku, because every time he goes to land a punch, Izuku would counter, and if he even touches Mirio, Mirio will be fully stunned / paralyzed, unable to do a single thing. So Mirio has to be perfect in his fighting, but Izuku only has to be perfect for that one singular moment. And that right there is what makes Izuku so absolutely important in the hero world, and also so important in general. And he is at a totally different level than even Mirio has ever even seen. And in comparison to even third years or even other heroes, he's looking at Izuku like, whoa, this kid is at a different stratosphere. And he honestly believes that to be the case. He believes that Izuku is in a different stratosphere in comparison to all of these other heroes and third years and, you know, potential bound heroes, right? These are not any slouches, don't get me wrong. Like Nejire Hado, I mean Tamaki, like these people are not slouches. These are legit not number one hero, but like top level hero prospects, and Izuku outshines them all. And at the end of the day, Izuku would be allowed into work with Sir Nighteye, and Sir Nighteye would have work for him almost immediately, and they would have a conversation, and that conversation would talk a lot about what do they do if they run into the one and only Overhaul, aka the leader of the Shia Hazaikai. Like, genuinely, like, what should we do? Should we just allow him to leave? You know, should we just immediately ensue in a fight? Should we try to get information? Should we try to capture him? Should we try to, what should we do? And he basically tells them, like, if he can subdue Overhaul without getting everybody else hurt, then he should. But if he feels that there's any inclination that there's a chance that he won't be able to do that without getting people hurt, then he should leave it as is, and he should allow Overhaul to leave, but keep tracking on Overhaul so that they can basically find the Shia Hazaikai base, and they can eventually, you know, take down Overhaul in general. And it's funny because this conversation isn't really a big deal, because frankly, there's no chance, right? There's no chance they find Overhaul in the first place. The actual chance of finding Overhaul is like slim to none. Like, they're not gonna find this guy because he's been kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time, and everybody believes that he's basically like a ghost. Nobody's gonna find him, nobody's gonna capture him, and it's gonna be way harder than you could imagine. And there's just no chance they're actually going to find the guy, and no chance they're actually going to come across him. And that's what a lot of people believe. That's what, frankly, Sir Nighteye believes to an extent, that they're really not going to run across him or come across him or find him in the near, at least not right now. But the thing is he has no idea that that's not the case. That they're going to find him, that they're actually going to come across him, and they're actually going to stop Overhaul quicker than you could imagine. Because this is when he comes across Overhaul himself. Because Overhaul himself is actually just walking the streets. He's walking the streets, and it seems like a mistake for him. A mistake that he will never forget, because he has Eri. Eri leaves and runs away, and he's trying to find her, and he eventually does. But when he finds Eri, when he finds her, and he sees two heroes standing there, there's one person he looks at, and he recognizes that hair, that green hair, those green eyes, that suit that he bears. He's him. He's the guy. He knows exactly who this is. This is the hero student that fought, well, you know who, All for One. This is the hero student that ensued in stopping not only All for One, but ensued in stopping giant creatures, Nomus, and even a monstrous creature in Gigantomachia. This is that person. And he thinks to himself, what does he do? Does he let this go abruptly and come out swinging? Does he decide that maybe I just, you know, I play it cool and they'll let me leave, or they don't know who I am, or something along those lines? But Izuku, well, initially he does play it cool. Izuku plays it cool, and Overhaul decides to do the same, playing it cool initially, you know, thinking like, you know, there's nobody, like, he doesn't know who I am, or blah blah blah, or at least Overhaul is acting or thinks that he doesn't know who he is, and then eventually, yeah, that's not the case, because very quickly Izuku would be able to touch Overhaul one time, fully paralyzing him, and Overhaul's eyes would widen in complete shock thinking that he is screwed. And Izuku would even say it, telling him that he might not be able to talk the way he wants to because he's a little slurred because of the paralysis, but he tells him that he might be thinking right now, damn, I'm screwed. I'm absolutely screwed. And he would be right. And Izuku tells him this flat out, telling him, you are screwed. There's nothing you could do. Not a single thing you could do. Not a single person can help you right now. You are screwed. You hurt a little girl that had nothing to do with anything. A little girl that didn't do anything to you. You used her, you abused her, you hurt her, and now it's over. Now she's safe, and now you're going to be far, far away from her. And Overhaul tries to speak and tells them that she is the future of this hero world. And Izuku says that we all are the future of this superhero world, or this hero world, and that the only difference is that you didn't give her an option. You forced her to do these things, forced her to do things that she didn't want to do, and then you also were hurting people that, frankly, didn't deserve to be hurt. So he picks up Eri, and they both leave with Overhaul completely paralyzed, and Izuku keeps his hand on him, making sure that the guy stays paralyzed, of course, and he would take him off, and Overhaul's just visibly defeated, and he gets thrown behind bars, put in prison, and, well, let's just say Hero Society and or kind of the hero agencies and the hero people that run things, like in terms of the hero like board of directors type of thing. Those people are very happy that they allowed Izuku Midoriya to start with his provisional hero license quicker than normal, because damn, he just made one of the biggest captures that anyone has ever seen. And he has now basically defeated Overhaul and stopped Overhaul entirely, when many others, well, they could not do so. When many others were far from being able to stop Overhaul. And that right there, I mean, it's an absolute insane thing to think about. But Overhaul's behind bars, and now it's time to raid the Shiya Hazzaikai base. Now, the Shiya Hazzaikai base, I mean, they're no joke. They're far from a joke by all means. But Izuku, when he helps out with a multitude of other heroes, Izuku would be able to blitz through the entirety of the place with Mirio very, very easily. I mean, smashing through wall after wall, basically opening up the entire area if he so chose to do so, and obviously would use his powers in more of a support-esque way, being able to stun / paralyze a multitude of people that would allow for openings for other heroes to actually help out, and Izuku would just help in a massive way, defeating every single villain within the Shiya Hazzaikai base, allowing the heroes to defeat everybody in the Shiya Hazzaikai very easily, and have the Shiya Hazzaikai gang, or just, place in general, defeated, handled, and completely and utterly gone from the society in general. Put behind bars, and will no longer hurt anyone anymore. But what does Izuku have to do, and what does Izuku do from here on throughout his hero journeys? Well, obviously he has his Class 1A versus Class 1B fighting. And Izuku Midoriya obviously would have just no problem taking on a 4 versus 5, but honestly, it would probably be better for everybody if Izuku just took on the entirety of Class 1B by himself. Now, I will admit that this version of Izuku, especially with what he could do, what he's capable of, and all the things that he truly can get into in terms of his power, I mean, it still wouldn't be fair. Now, would there be some people here that could possibly do some things? Of course, right? And this is where we get into a little bit more of a kind of thinking aspect of what they could possibly do. I mean, there's some people in Class 1B like Monoma who can steal quirks that may be able to do something to Izuku, right? I mean, that's if he could truly kind of mimic necessarily his quirk or utilize his quirk. I mean, or kind of steal his quirk, quote unquote. It definitely wouldn't be easy though, because his quirk is, let's just say, a little bit out there in terms of strength. I mean, it could overwhelm Monoma in terms of what it does. I could see, a combination of a multitude of quirks in Class 1B helping out and hoping that they could defeat Izuku. But in all honesty, Izuku could clear out half of Class 1B in a matter of a split second if he so chose to do so. And this would be the best way for him to get his training in. But everyone else, on the other hand, I mean, they definitely wouldn't stand a chance, even though this would be their best course of action when trying to actually take him down, is take him down altogether. But of course, no. They cannot defeat Izuku, and if Izuku decided to, do the normal way where he's just fighting, the 4 versus 5 against Shinso and Monoma and all those people, excuse me, it still wouldn't be fair. It would be far from fair, especially with the powers he's been able to show. I mean, not even beyond the idea of just he can obviously paralyze people, which is a massive thing. I mean, that is super, super good in the act of fighting. And on top of that, his speed and strength with his Stormborn strength and power is just ridiculous, giving him the ability to basically outspeed, outfly, really, outrun, out-hit, outpower everybody and everything. So it would make things very, very easy. But now this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of the version of My Hero Academia that could possibly ensue. Now, obviously, he has to go through the rest of his first year, which we already know would be closer to the end than the beginning. So Izuku's first year would be practically over by this time. He would probably start training with heroes very similar to normal, like Endeavor, but he would still be working with heroes like Sir Nighteye, and Izuku would continue his hero journeys throughout his second and third year, cleaning up Japan even more. Now, what does that entail necessarily? None of us really 100% know. But as we approach this kind of finale for Izuku Midoriya, as he enters being a hero, his whole journey, his whole idea, and his whole kind of next step was and will always be to become the #1 hero. From the day he was born, from the day he learned about All Might, and from the day he truly wanted to become a hero, he knew what his goal was going to be. His goal was to be the #1 hero. And with the powers that were granted to him via his quirk, his godly lightning powers, or his godly lightning quirk, it has gave him a chance to become the hero that he would be destined to become. And Izuku Midoriya would push forward throughout the years and even make his own agency. I could see him working with Sir Nighteye's agency for a while, but then probably diverge into his own kind of thing, taking on and helping out the younger generation of heroes, but on top of that, still being kind of that person that almost every single person looks up to. I mean, at the end of the day, his quirk is flashy. His quirk is just godly. So people would look up to his Thunderborn quirk, his quirk that would allow him to really embrace the idea of thunder and lightning, and ideally embrace the power that was given to him. And every fight he would go through, when lightning would strike, every single person, every single hero, every single student, every single sidekick would know, would hear, and would understand what's happening. Izuku Midoriya, the Thunderborn hero, was putting on a spectacle, not only to save everybody, not only to keep everyone safe, but also to take care of the villains that continuously keep showing up in Japan. All the villains that continuously keep showing their face to Japan itself. But soon Izuku's powers would even divulge from Japan itself. He would begin to truly help everyone around the world. I mean, not only would Izuku be powerful, he would have the power to legitimately solve probably power-like crisis where he could straight up just make it so that Japan is ran on just every little bit of power that he has. He could probably set up batteries that were so powerful that they could hold all the power he could generate from lightning itself, charging months, maybe even years worth of energy to the entirety of Japan, but also the entirety of the world. And eventually, Izuku Midoriya would become exactly what he wants to become. That is the #1 hero. Izuku Midoriya would become the #1 hero, and really the next up-and-coming hero that many would look at to be that next version of All Might. But the next version of All Might doesn't have to be the one that wields the powers of One for All, because Izuku Midoriya was born with these powers, was born with the lightning running through his veins. But that is the end of this story, the end of What If Deku Had a Godly Lightning Quirk. And if you enjoyed, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, and leave a comment down below. All that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.